project, you will call it as NFR document. So in project, you will use a different words. Okay, for example, if you call it as user, here we call it as virtual users. Okay, we call it as VU. So you need to know the technical words that also I'll cover. Okay, so for example, if you are entering some 3 years or 4 years of experience, they will evaluate you, right? So whether you are talking about virtual, how many virtual user you used, means you will get confused. So you should know the technical words how we used in performance testing, that I'll cover, don't worry. Then scripting. Okay, so you started a scripting based on the requirement. As we are seeing the basics, I'm just talking about the normal words. When we started a practical section, I will use only the technical words. Okay, I'll also tell, okay, this is the word, we will use the technical words in project. Okay, so we'll use a requirement, that is NFR. Okay, NFR, non functional requirement. Okay, so you're going to start a scripting based on those NFR, right? So you know which are the scenarios you have to cover. You will not cover an entire scenario. Okay. If you take a manual tester, what they will do, they will test each and every functionalities. But as a performance tester, we are going to evaluate only speed, scalability, and reliability. That I'll cover these introductions in a performance testing. Okay, each and everything will be get covered. Okay, if you are into the project, how you can handle. Okay, so when you start a scripting, okay, so you know the scenarios, right? So when after you started a scripting, you know, you have the handy with the requirement, what are the scenarios you have to cover, right? So to cover those scenario means some steps I'm talking about. Okay, some script steps. For example, you are launched the application, you are logging into the applications, you will purchase something, then you will do logout. That steps I am call it as scenario. Okay. But in technical word, in a project, they will call different traversal flow. Okay. They will call it as traversal flow. So going forward, you will get to know, okay, what I'm talking about, how we can use the technical word, that I'll tell. Okay. So as you know the basics, first I'll start the basic words, then you will catch the advanced words. Okay. So you're starting the scenario. So you have the scripts ready. To start the script, you should know some template, right? Every tool have some templates. So how you can cover those template, that will cover in JMeter scripting. In which phase I'll tell you. This an element. Okay, in scripting, to follow some template, you need to understand some elements. Okay, element. So these are the options you have to select. After this, these options you have to select. Then for recording, these options you have to select. So you have to know the element. So that element I'll cover. For example, if you see here an element, okay, you will start from test plan. Okay, there is some scenario, there is some detail we will see, but I'm just giving what the course syllabus is. Okay, you will see the scenario. Under the scenario, how many users you want to run. Here we'll talk about users, how many scenarios you are going to run. These users, we have a different element option in JMeter. I'll tell you which are the element you have to choose, when you have to choose those element. Okay, as well as controller. Control, you're talking about conditions, if conditions, for loop, while. So you need, right? You at least you should use the basic things, right? So the controller I'll cover. Okay, those explanations. Sampler means you are running something, you want to debug. Okay, you are running, you want to see whatever I am running the scripts is correct or not. To debug something, okay, to debug the request, we are using some samplers. I'll tell how the sampler, how we can select those samplers. Next is configurations. Configurations means you are going to run a different uses. You are going to run different data. So different set of data you will use, right? How we can pass those test data we are going to use for scripting, that will cover in configurations. Okay, assertion, you know, assertion means validations. So you are running something manually, you can see, okay, I'm just clicking some button, you will get some response, correct. But when you are going with a tool, when you are running for multiple users, you will not validate, right? Manually you can't validate. At the time, this assertion will help for validating purpose. Okay, then timer. Why you need a timer? Manually you are going to purchase something, you will log in, you will wait for some time, you will go and take your card, you will distract for something like 5 seconds or 3 seconds, right? Immediately you will not click next button, right? You will take some time. That's a user behavior, right? Maybe I'll wait for 2 seconds, you will wait for 5 seconds, you will think about it, you will cancel it. So those timer also we have to implement in tool, because we want the same behavior the tool should do, right? That is the timer. Okay, and this is very important topic. Okay, pacing and think time. With this help of pacing and think time only, you can achieve your target. For example, I want to do only 10 times in 1 hour. 1 hour I want to place only 10 order. So that calculations we can cover in pacing and think time, that I'll cover. I'll tell you formulas, how you can implement in JMeter. This is very important. So if you, for example, in 1 hour you want to achieve 20, you are placing only 10 means you are wasting 1 hour time, right? So again you have to start the execution, so you will lag. So this is very important topic. Okay, but in a project we call it as workload modeling. In interview also they call it as workload modeling, so you'll get confused. These technical words I'll cover when we are going with practical section. Okay, for the basics to see the course content, just know about the syllabus. But when we are seeing the practical and when we are seeing the theoretical thing, I'll tell you the technical words, just note it down. Okay, so this one I'll tell you how we can achieve in JMeter. Okay, the listener means results. So you want to see the results, right? You are running something, you want to see those results. So which element you use? That is the listener. So here we are using the listener. Coming to the processor, suppose one person writes question, right? What language we need, right? Suppose you want to implement some language like a Java, some groovy scripting. Anyway, I'll cover BeanShell scripting. I'll tell you how to write the basics code. Okay, don't worry. Suppose if for anyway everyone have a bad luck, right? Suppose we are entering a project, you want to write some code means you I don't want people to suffer, right? So I'll tell you how we can write the code. So code here we call it as custom code. In technical world they will call. Just ignore the technical word. If you want to write some code like a JavaScript or something, this processor will help. Okay, you can give some input to the JMeter element, then based on your input script will execute. So to start the scripting itself, you need to understand the template, this element. Okay, so these I'll cover. Very important thing commonly used in a project I'll cover. Okay, we also have a functions, inbuilt functions are there. Okay, for example, inbuilt function, you no need to write anything, any code. Okay, normally date functions will be there, time will be there, random number you can pick. So normally inbuilt functions will be there. I'll tell you the commonly used functions, how we can implement. Okay, any doubts in elements? Okay, before scripting itself, you should know these element. Okay, without this element you are not knowing which element you have to pick to start the scripting, right? So this element is very, very, very important. Okay, this is the starting. To start the scripting means you should know the element. So any doubts in elements? Okay, I'll take it as no. So going back to scripting, so you know these elements, right? So the elements is very important. I'll tell you how to use them. After that, you will start a recording. If you start the recording, you should know which browser you have to choose. In browser, we have to do some settings based on a script settings only. You can start those recording. Then only it will capture the request. Suppose if you are facing some issues in recording, definitely in project you will not able to record all the time. Okay, you will face the issues. Sometimes firewall issues will happen. You have to reach the team to remove the firewall. So alternate ways I'll tell you how we can record those applications with help of different methods. Okay, that I'll cover when we are going with scripting. Okay, I'll cover how to do the scripting with a different approach. Okay, not only a JMeter, with the help of other thing also we can record and we can implement in JMeter. Okay, I'll tell. Okay, so JMeter, you need a certificate. I'll tell you how to install it. When you download, when you start recording itself, it will automatically generate certificate. But still, if you want to regenerate, I'll tell you how we can regenerate the source certificate. Okay, and you know this element. Okay, then for JMeter, we have some plugins. Okay, for example, if you take it as thread group, okay, you are going to run some 100 users or 200 users. Okay, there are different thread groups are there. Okay, I want this graphical view, I don't want this graphical views. Okay, means you can change those element with the help of plugin. Okay, so I'll tell you how to install those plugin and how we can uninstall it. That will cover. And also we can see the end to end. For example, end to end in the means from the start launch to log out the application, how we can record and how we can do the scripting. Okay, that will things, you know, these are already covered with different approach how we can enhance your script. Okay, and these two are very, very, very important topic. Without this you can't fix the script. Okay, this is the template element. You should know how we can choose the template, but this concept how we can fix the script. Okay, so those are the concepts is like a correlations as well as a parameterization. This I'll tell. The correlations we also cover regular expression. Okay, I'll tell what's a regular expression, what's the correlations, and what's the parameterization, everything. To understand the basics now, I'll tell what's the parameterization and correlations. Parameterization means you are entering something like user input, like username you will enter, credit card details you will enter. So whatever you are feeding something to the applications you are entering, that is the parameterization. Okay, the correlations means you are entering something, you are sending request to the server is returning some back based on your user credentials, right? At the time, for example, currently now, for example, 8 p.m. Okay, 8 p.m. means based on your time snap you will get some response. So next user is hitting something, you will get different time snap, right? So the session id will get vary. So that you have to do correlations. Okay, from the response, from dynamic value is coming, that you have to do the correlations. Parameterization means user input, the correlations means dynamic value. Okay, these regular expression means when you are getting the dynamic value. Okay, Every time you are getting different value. For example, my name is Priyanka, I'm just entering something, you will get some session ID. Okay, based on my username you'll get something, based on other things you'll get something, right? You have to handle those, right? Then only your script is passed for different set of users, correct? That you have can handle with help of regular expression. Regular expression I'll cover with a real time also, because if you are in project sometimes your response will get vary, so I'll cover all the real time application, how we can do with the help of Google, how you can cover the different boundaries. Okay, so any doubts in scripting? Okay, so any course doubt in scripting level? Don't worry, now as you are just seeing the content of the course, maybe you will not catch it. Definitely, without seeing your JMeter, you will not know, okay, what we are talking about plugins, what you are talking about installations. So everything will be new. But without knowing the course, you will not start to the trainings, right? So just know what are the concepts we are going to cover, then you will get a better idea. When we are talking about a practical, now you can easily catch, okay, like that. Okay, so any doubts in scripting? Okay, then I'm jumping to execution. Execution is very important, right? After complete your scripting, you will jump into execution. Okay, this script is working fine. I'm going to run for multiple users. You can run it in two ways. I'll tell you what's the two ways. Non-GUI mode as well as GUI mode. GUI means graphical user interface. Okay, graphical user interface. This is not graphical user interface. This is graphical user interface. Okay, you are running for some iteration in the sense you are running for 5 times, you are going to run for only 5 times. Okay, you can run it in GUI. If you are going for 5,000 or 10,000 times you are going to run, means go with the non-GUI. I'll tell you when you are going to go with the non-GUI, when you are go to GUI, and how we can do it in GUI and non-GUI. Okay, it's very important thing. Okay, because when you're seeing 5,000 times in front of machine, it will get hang. Okay, so you should not run those many users in GUI mode, you have to run it in non-GUI mode. I'll tell how to run in GUI non-GUI, how you can stop it and you can get those results. Okay, and after running this, it's very important, this summary report. Okay, this summary report, you will get one template. Without understanding, you will not explain, okay, these are the details I got. See the client and just run the execution. I'm seeing this is the time we are getting. So application is very slow. So you have to explain your report, right? JMeter itself will generate one report. So you should know the content, then only you can explain to other people. So the summary report, I'll explain, okay, how the report looks like. Here the summary. Okay, how the report looks like, how we can cover, okay, this is the response time we are getting. Okay, this many users I put into the applications, so these many throughput have achieved. Throughput in the sense, like if you're running two iteration means how many target you are getting, right? So two, that I'm call it as throughput. In detail I'll explain later when we are talking about summary report, the technical word. Okay, so how many iterations we achieved, iteration in the sense how many times it executed. Okay, that things will cover in HTML report. Okay, and very important areas I'll cover. Okay, don't worry. In report means what are the informations you have to send in final place. This summary report, What are the informations you need? That I'll cover in execution part. Then it's one more thing is very important. These are all I'll complete in a single thing, then you can get it, okay? But it will see in detail, okay? Why we need these variable and CSV means, okay, I am running script in my local, okay? When you will give some path, okay, this is the path I'm going to run the script, okay? When I'm sharing the script to somebody else, my colleague, okay, that particular path will get varied, right? Folder, everything will get varied, correct? So script will fail, so you have to change the path. So at that time some other person, maybe night shift guy, they are coming and they are going to execute, means that person path will be get different. So everything, every path will get varied. So you, in order to run those script in all the machines, how we can handle the script, right? That I'll cover how we can handle those variable, how we can use those data set config, how we can do the random. For example, I'm running, my name is Priyanka, some other person is ABC, for example. I'm A, some other person is B, some other person is C. So I don't want to run sequentially, okay? Maybe first time P should pick, second time I don't want, either A or C should pick. So user itself pick randomly, means how we can give those users in a test data, that I'll tell, okay? And other thing, distribute testing, okay? Distribute load testing means you have one machine. As I said, in machine you will install the JMeter, you are going to execute, correct? For example, in my machine I have the capacity to run only 50 users. I don't have 100 users capacity, okay? I want another machines to run for the remaining user. For example, I have 100 users to execute by, but my machine capacity is only 50 users. So where I can put the remaining 50 users? So I need a different machines. So how you can handle different machines, and how we can execute the same script parallelly, and how we can collate those results, and how we can merge, and how we can give the summary report, I'll tell, okay? Because I am running my one machine, I'll get one report. You are running one script, you will get one report. I want to merge it, right? So we also have those options in a JMeter to merge the results, and we can provide the report to the client. But for merging results, only 4 results maximum match, okay? Not more than that, okay? Be clear, for merging results only maximum you can match the 4 results, okay? Suppose if you have 8 results, what you can do? First you can match 4 results, second set of results you can match, then you can match the final one. Likewise you can do, but maximum in single machine you can match the 4 results, okay? The normal test executions and reporting, okay? This is an additional things I will cover. The web services, I'll tell you why it's important, okay? Not only web service, I'll cover DB as well, okay? So when you are entering the project, you will do UI testing, correct?